What's going on, everybody? LK here, back at it again today with Knight and ApologyMan, and we are going to talk about who is the best Guilty Gear Strive player. Not a lot of nuance to this. What do you guys? What do you think, Knight and ApologyMan? What do you think?
This is a touchy subject. This is a very touchy subject. You know, it's a little spicy, but you know, obviously it's subjective. I don't think there's any definitive best player in Guilty Gear Strive right now. I'm just gonna tell everyone that as a warning, because the landscape of Guilty Gear Strive is like competitive space has been mostly online because of COVID. That's just unfortunately what the reality of the situation is. But you know, the netcode for the game is really solid, so you can still give value to the results that happen online. And there have been offline events as well, which in my opinion, it is still like the gold standard. I put it to the highest regard in terms of results. But there are tournament results to go off of, and usually when someone picks the best player, you pick who wins the most stuff, right? That's usually the metric most people pick, and that's the metric that I go off of. And I honestly, like, it's hard not to deny all the offline major tournaments that have happened, which are mostly in the States, to be fair. They've all been won by K7. K7 show off. Like, he's won like every offline tournament that he's gone to. I'm pretty sure.
I think he's won three.
Maybe -1.
No, he's won three. Big events, to be fair. He's won, but big events, to be fair.
Summer Jam.
Yeah. Summer Jam. He won the ECT qualifier. Yeah. That was won by Tempest. So Tempest won the invitational part, but K7 won the spot.
Right.
One of the spots.
He won Super TSB, I believe.
Yeah, he won Super TSB to get the spot. And then
that was that. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and then he won CEO also.
And CEO is like the biggest one.
That's the biggest one out of all of them.
That's the biggest offline Guilty Gear
so far
open bracket tournament since this game's come out. So that's like a huge win. So I think if you're just looking at offline results, like, it's hard not to deny K7 has the best of them, but it's a little unfair, right? Because, you know, how can the Japanese players can't? It's hard for them to travel here. COVID's, you know, surging and all that.
I mean, real talk, EU is mauling listening to you talk, saying that US player is the best, right?
I know, right?
This is a really and I was saying this, you know, we always prep. We have our little chat, ApologyMan and I, how we're gonna influence everybody with our words. But like, this is a really tough topic. One of the best things about having, say, like, world tours and stuff is that we get a nice list with points that does the job for you, because there's so many examples of people who are literally ridiculous, who don't perform well in tournaments. You might be like, well, that guy's not the best. He or she might not be the best on that day of the tournament day, but then all the other days they're ridiculous. There's all sorts of factors, different regions, how many opportunities do people actually have to perform. There's so many factors that go into this. So this one is a really tricky one. It's really easy for us to point to K7, and also of course we give them props. Like, the US has had probably the most offline major events so far. But Japan has had big events, and those have been online, and EU has also been having events. I want to say like mostly online. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, they're mostly online.
So it's a really big conversation. There's a ton of good players. If we want to use, like, the next big one that's coming up is probably going to be like Arc Revo, right? So we were talking about this. So Arc Revo East is this weekend, and only 2 people got the spot, and there are probably like 14 to 16 people who are good enough to get those spots. Whoever gets those spots, they're the best on that day. That's usually how, I don't know about you, but that's usually how I think of it. Like, whoever won that major, they're the best on that day.
I'm kind of in the same boat as you. A lot, like, you know, I value tournament results very highly, but I also really value just overall strength of a player, from like how good they do versus everyone in sets and casuals. Like, I know it's casuals and tournament is what matters the most, but like it matters, like how you play, just overall, like your quality of play throughout, like just across the board, is, in my opinion, what determines like player strength. It's once again, it's subjective, but like it does matter. Like, if this dude's like, yeah, I like he didn't take games off me in casuals, and then maybe he wins the tournament set. Like I'm still gonna value that, like you were winning mostly overall, right? Tournament is also for some people not a good representation of their skills, because they get really nervous. It's a really high pressure situation. Maybe they're not playing at their best. They only play when they're playing at their best when they're in their boxers at home playing online. Like some people just play better in different situations. So you have to like kind of parse everything, take it all into account. But yeah, you were mentioning Arc Revo. One of the other players that I would like say is like in contention, right, of being one of the best is Latif right now. Actually, Latif is absolutely destroying all the Europe tournaments. Like he's winning everything. And when it comes to sets, like whenever he just plays people from EU in general and casuals, it's like he is just miles ahead, in my opinion. Like he is absolutely like dominating that region, and he is, I think, like when offline more events where all the international players can come together, he's gonna put in mad work, like for sure. I think when it comes to other offline events that I think that are important to value is Red Bull Kumite. I think that was a really big one too, because that was one of the few that had international presence, like from all over in one tournament. It was an invitational event. I was at that event actually, and the person who won that event was Gobo. And Gobo is also, I think, after that weekend, in my mind, I was like, this dude's the best. Like he is so good. Like obviously he won the tournament in like convincing fashion. He only dropped 2 games, one to Diphone and one.
Oh, I was gonna set you up.
Oh,
I was gonna set you up. I was gonna give you a nice little like. Wait, who else did he lose to?
Yeah, I don't know.
So you can be like, me, bro, me. Yeah, I was just gonna give it to you, but okay, it's fine.
When he won that day, it looked like he was playing like he was the best player in the world, and it's like how he uses like the game's mechanics, the game systems. Like he's just like an amazing Guilty Gear Strive player, like and that is something that is like, it's hard to evaluate, but he's just like good at the game, man. Like it's not just the Zato, like he just uses the system mechanics well. Like he uses BRC like the best, and he used it super early. He was IBing before everyone, like it just all the like things that people like, I think more people are doing now. He did it super early on. He's always like ahead of the game whenever I watch his footage. So him winning that tournament the way he did, I was like, damn, this dude's a monster. But it's hard to say who's the best.
Tough conversation.
Yeah, it's a tough conversation. Let me just give some honorable mentions. Hotashi, Sonic Fox, Deb was a monster. Like when the game came out, like in the States, no one was touching Deb in like sets at all. TY won like a big event recently, a Geo player. Like there's a ton of good players to go off of. But yeah, it's hard to pick who's the best, but yeah, that's kind of like my thoughts on it. So I hope you guys liked that video. Let me know who you think is maybe the best player in the world in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.